What I've got for you today is the finals of the ESL Open Cup for the Korean server number 215. Now, interestingly enough, we're starting off this Terran versus Zerg on the map Equilibrium. Spotting right here in the top left-hand corner, representing himself on the main hatchery, that's his face right there, we have none other than Dark. Certainly the reason why this map is map number 1, because this map is amazing for Zerg. His opponent in the top right, I mean, I feel like if you see a Terran player with the Rebellion logo spinning around on the main command center, you must realize who this is. We have none other than ByuN. ByuN very much so. Alright, we have a gold base first, naturally. ByuN very much so the type of guy who just has one account that he seems to play on. Or at the very least, oh no, not this again. At the very least, he is in the same clan on every single one of his accounts. Oh god. Well, I still don't speak Korean. I still don't have any clue what these guys are talking about. But every once in a while, when I'm casting a series where ByuN is, well, part of it, and he goes up against one of his friends, they start up their little tea time. Every once in a while, it's what they enjoy doing. Anyways, will ByuN figure out that it's a gold base first? What exactly is Dark's plan on the back of this? Because you'd expect it's gonna be a, hatchery into a gas geyser into a spawning pool, but this is hatch into pool, and no gas taken yet. Okay, we're just going for a bit of a delayed one. Probably wants to get those queens going here ASAP, and we're transferring 6 drones towards the golden minerals. Alright. As you probably know, Dark is a bit of a madman. When there's chaos in the match, that's usually where Dark is better than anybody else, and well, golden minerals, rich bases with rich Vespian geysers, all of it create situations that, well, ByuN in this instance has probably not played against all too frequently. Factory on the back of this. Command center coming up. Roach Warren on the back of this too. Interesting. Okay. I saw quick Roach play with a gold base on this map not that long ago at Kijkwijzer. That was Serral going up against Dark. And what Serral did in that particular match was go for the gold base first and create layers to his wall-offs over at the golden minerals. And then he had roaches on hold position in multiple locations on the main ramp too. So Dark decided to take his own gold base in that particular game and rush Zerglings and Ravagers. And Serral just looked pretty much unbreakable. So I was wondering if maybe that's what we're gonna see right here from... Alright, that's a lot of question marks. I'm wondering if that's maybe something we're gonna see right here as well from Dark. Multiple question marks, dude. Is that allowed? Can we... I don't know. Multiple question marks, multiple exclamation points. It bothers me a little bit. Yeah. Whenever somebody sends me multiple question marks to a question, maybe Dark is just being taunted a little bit right here, but yeah. Anyways, ByuN not really achieving a whole lot against that golden base. He's not going to try much either. Maybe roam around with the Hellions, but that'll probably be it. We have him going for a quick third command center right now. Ooh. Okay, well, never mind. He is gonna try and harass it. It'll be Cyclones together right here with a bunch of Marauders here. I was gonna call them Immortals. They wish they were Immortals. Okay, so... it's a, 6 Roach opener, or 7 Roach opener with 3 Ravagers. 4th Ravager coming up right now. The reason why normally you go for 3 is because you can bile anything that Terran has in the early game with just 3 biles. Be it a Liberator or a Siege Tank or anything along those lines. None of that is here the case though. Let's see, how much damage can we do? It's 7 biles for a bunker. SCVs do not get pulled in time. Obviously, Cyclones can now move and shoot at the same time as well. We're gonna even morph in an extra one. There's no link speed on the back of this for Dark, so he needs to be very cautious. Because as soon as these units get cleaned up, there will be a Terran counterattack. And so far, he honestly hasn't achieved much. Keep in mind, this is a triple CC opener. Okay, does get that Cyclone over there. A little bit of miscontrol there by Micro Jackson, but you will be able to push all of this back, and I think this is a fine position right now for ByuN. Yeah. He lost 1 SCV. He basically lost 1 of everything, except for Jimmy. Screw you, Jimmy. You ruined my beautiful graph. Ultimately, though, that is quite a few losses on the side of Terran, but with a triple CC start, I don't think you can really complain all too much. Well, you do have to rally it, but the orbital command is incredibly powerful. Now the additional barracks are coming up. We don't even have a starport yet. So, yeah, we're gonna go double engineering bay here before anything else. Now, the real kicker here is that if Dark would have gone for the variant where you do go for Zergling speed with that particular push, I think he could have won the game. But I guess hindsight is 2020. ByuN decided to take a bit of a gamble. Didn't have anything that reliable available. Like, for example, a Banshee or something along those lines. I mean, you can't really get it out against that particular attack, but the Ling Flood variant does generally hit a little bit later. Anyways, that would have been amazing for Dark. Not the case here in this match, but I don't hate his position or anything. Dark is doing Dark things. Going for a 4th base before he really spotted the 3rd of his opponent. That is a bit risky, but I guess he took a calculated decision. Interestingly enough, he's also walling himself in over here. Now that looks cool, but I'm pretty sure that's better for the Terran than it is. Isn't this worse? If you're playing a ground-based army, wouldn't you want to be able to maneuver in this bit of space over here? Instead, if there is an attack suddenly at the bottom of the map and Dark doesn't see it coming, he's gonna have to run all the way around. Plus, obviously, the Terran is the one with the ranged units here. I mean, we have a lot of roaches, I guess, but in general, this would be a pretty easy structure to pick off with a bunch of Marines, and ByuN is very well known to fly these units around the map as soon as medevacts do come out. 6 Overlords coming up too. We've got ourselves a supply block right here for the Zerg. One of the most popular attacks that Terrans like to go for on this map in particular is Siege Tank here on the high ground against that gold base. And I've got a feeling that this positioning here on these Evos is substantially worse against exactly that. Anyhow, a Roach speed, 1-1 upgrades. All of it is finishing up and Dark is massing the Roach. ByuN has got 69 workers. Nice. Actually, he's got 71 now. Never mind. What I'm trying to say, though, is that his economy is quite a bit better than Dark's. And having 2 medevacs like this out actually is very handy when it comes to keeping the Zerg player back. Question is there enough right here for Dark to actually deal damage on the other side of the map? Siege Tank out of position. Forced to siege it up in a spot that he really didn't want to aim for. 3rd base is essentially all by itself. Additional 6 Overlords coming up right here for Dark. Oh my god, he is finding himself entirely cornered right there though with that first squad of units, but now the Zerg reinforcements have shown up. That siege tank is certainly going to be ByuN'd. We don't have a secondary siege tank on the high ground just yet. Ay. Pretty sloppy game by Dark, all things considered, but also certainly not the cleanest game here from ByuN. GG is called, and game number 1 goes in favor of the Zerg. Game number 2. We find ourselves on the map Oceanborn. Alright. A very Dark-esque series so far. Filled early game push. Very quick 4-base economy. Cutting 17 corners and then ultimately catching his opponent off guard with a mass Roach Ravager attack. It's one of those games where, as a Terran player, technically you can counter that relatively easily. It's just that you try to play the mind game, you try to be really smart, and then ultimately everybody's got a plan until they get smacked in the face, right? Like, Dark in a way really is kind of the Mike Tyson of the StarCraft community. This guy really does defy the meta in a lot of different ways. Anyways, let's see. I think ByuN can probably play, if he wants to play safe, that is. I think he can probably play triple Command Center, Hellion, Banshee every game and be okay. In my mind, if ByuN can be stable going into the mid game, he will have a bit of an advantage at that point in the match. The thing is, Dark, of course, is also very strong with that late game control, and he'll be more than happy to play it. He just generally seems to avoid it. It's a bit weird, because I've played a lot of StarCraft, and whenever I have figured out, yo, I am really good at this phase in the game, that is what I try to focus on. And Dark must realize that his late game is phenomenal, but he doesn't really focus on it. What's this now then? So it's a hatchery into a spawning pool into a 3rd hatch? Again, not a build. Wait, what? Dark? You have 350... Did he just autopilot? What just happened there? Because that drone was sent over here at the perfect mineral count. Ah, he wanted to get the queens going first. Okay, so why did we send the drone that early? I swear, Dark playing smaller online cups versus Dark at offline tournaments, you can make many memes about it. It is all just a little bit different. So he decided to skip Zerglings altogether, by the way, here. And obviously he also skipped gas. So the queens will pop nice and early. That'll be okay against the very first Reaper. Oh, alright. Funky build. Yeah. And I guess what Dark causes, right, with strategies like this is that, well, he forces the opponent to do the one thing that you always want to avoid as a StarCraft player. He's forcing ByuN to think. That's not just a Terran player's problem. Whenever any StarCraft player is thinking while they're playing the game, usually their macro suffers. Okay, so what exactly are the implications right here for ByuN? Well, any attack that comes right now will hit at a slightly different timing. Will it hit harder? I would imagine so, because the third base is earlier, and therefore Dark can power out that economy a little bit quicker. Therefore, any attack, like for example the +1/+1 roach speed one that we saw in the previous game, still gasless, by the way. Still entirely gasless. That's crazy. Anyways, any attack, here's ByuN again, is gonna hit at different timings now. So all of the strategies that you've practiced against all these years, I mean, you don't have to throw them out of the window, but everything will hit a little different. So straight Roach Warren at 3.5 minutes together with double gas. Okay. One of the biggest things that Blizzard has ever done to create more early game build order variety for Zerg was nerf the Baneling. The most recent patch, we had a bit of a Baneling nerf, and suddenly Zerg is showing all these strange ways to open. Anyways, all the roads do eventually lead towards similar strategies, but I can imagine for ByuN this gets a bit confusing. ByuN, by the way, doing none of that triple CC benchy stuff that I was suggesting. Instead, we're doing triple CC, triple barracks into eventually a starport. Also a save opener for what it's worth, because if you do go up against a roach-based push, usually the roach-based attacks, they hit right around the 5-minute mark, a little later. So that would be like a 3.5 minute Roach Warren with a Roach Flood. I mean, maybe that's what we actually have right here. Very strange way of getting there, Dark. Especially with this supply block once again. Anyways, he should finish up Stimpek. So in my mind, this is a safe way to open up against Zerg. But it's drones on the back of this right now for Dark. Look at the supply count already, though. Oh, okay. Nice. That was just for style points. Supply count, though, already heavily favoring Dark. I was wondering if Dark actually set anything back, but he did. Now suddenly the roaches do show up. There's actually not that many units yet. Yeah, they will have Stimpek. No way, there's 4 Marines. There's 4 Marines and Stimpek. What a weird push. Okay, well, ultimately, of course, this will be pushed away. But what a strange attack. So ByuN is looking at this opener from Dark, right? He's like, well, this is really greedy. I guess in order for me to face that greed, I have to be greedy myself too. So he actually prioritized double upgrades in the NG base. He went for a ton of infrastructure, but he barely had any attacking units. And then suddenly Dark shows up with a round of roaches. Again, imagine if that would have been a Link Flood on the back of it. ByuN did scout the gases in the main base with that Reaper, but there could have been a gas taken over here that he never had vision of, so that could have been an attack with Link Speed. Okay. Not a bad spot right here, though, for ByuN. He decided to counter greed with a ton of greed of his own. And ultimately, that does give him very fast upgrades. So this is Stimpek, Combat Shields, and 1-1 upgrades done. 6.5 minutes into the game, with 3 base, nearly 3 base saturation. The only problem is that, yeah, he didn't go for any Hellions, obviously. So that means, well, he's got 1 Hellion. Sorry, didn't mean to count you out. Okay, we had 2 Hellions. Fine. Anyways, the creep spread hasn't been slowed down in any way. At least I say slowed down these days. I used to always say slowed down. The crisp rate has been slowed down. It only took about 7 years of me casting games to fix my grammatical error. Anyways, I still feel like slowed down sounds better. All right, well that was not ideal. Slowed down. There you go. Okay, well, Dark finding himself with a 40 supply lead. It is Roach Ravager, so it's what the kids call very mid-army. But it does hit hard. And even though the 1-1 upgrades were very quick for ByuN, he never started up +2/+2. +1/+1 finishing right now for the Zerg, and suddenly Dark is not really that far behind in upgrades anymore. This attack can actually hit very, very tricky. Now look at this wall off here from ByuN. Staggering the supply depots on purpose. Okay. This is a scary attack though. Is there enough Terran? I'm honestly not sure. You know what? I think that may be GG. Yeah. Oh my god, what? Dark just throwing the strangest curveballs in these games. Builds a 4th hatchery, but really just uses it to build up a bunch of roaches, and then he just wins the game with a 1-1 roach push? Okay, Alcyone, game number 3. What's interesting to me is that the oldest Zerg build order in the book is 1-1 roach speed. That is the build order that I have taught everybody who ever did any StarCraft 2 coaching ever. Dark, by the way, with the first GLHF of the series. And ByuN is like, lol? What? Anyways, it's a 1-1 roach speed attack. It is it's nothing all too spectacular. It's the oldest trick in the book. The thing is that the ways in which Dark has been getting there in this series are very different than what we ordinarily see. So, in case you're unfamiliar, that is a build order that is literally cooked up in 2010 or so. Obviously, since then, well, the maps are a little bit different. A lot of bit different. And we also have the addition of the Ravager, which makes those attacks significantly more powerful. Again, look at this. It is hatch into pool. So this is what you did last game, but then later. Oh, he's scouting for proxies. Yeah, okay. He's afraid that ByuN right now is gonna go for a proxy. Now this is definitely ByuN's map pick. Alcyone in general. Not bad at all. Wait. If game number 1 was Equilibrium, how did they do the map vetoes? That's really funky. Equilibrium considered to be very good for Zerg. This map in general. Good for the Terran. This is usually the Terran's map pick. How did we... Man, they're playing some mind games as well as far as the map vetoing and the map picking goes for sure. Anyways, it's a triple hatch opener. Once again, completely gasless. I guess we can't really tell until like a big StarCraft 2 tournament rolls around to see if this is something that Dark is just memeing around with or if he's actually serious about it. Because this is not what he did at Katowice. Which is, you know, at the time of playing this particular series, I think like 2 weeks ago. I'd be really surprised if the entire early game that Dark is playing is getting an overhaul after that event, but it could also be a ByuN specific thing. So, triple barracks opener here. I think it's a good option against a gasless Zerg, but you do have to be careful. Normally your main problem with triple Rex openers, or I guess double Rex openers even, like this, is the fact that link speed will finish up, right? With this opener, I think ByuN has successfully analyzed, yeah, there is not gonna be any link speed. So, Mass Reaper should do really well. Obviously, Reapers are 50 minerals, 50 gas each, so naturally... Ooh, good snipe. Beautiful control right there by the Terran. Naturally, you will find yourself with enough minerals to build a command center, and that's what ByuN is doing right now. Any queen kill at this point is amazing. Gets another creep tumor as well. Yeah, so the way that Dark is planning on holding on is by making mass queen. We're still gasless. Heh. So he sees this coming from a mile away, and he's like, no. No gas. Okay, loses one Reaper. Queens are making their way to the third. 7 drones, by the way, on the back of this. Dark is droning like there's no game that needs to be played. Nah, this is not good, though, for the for the Zerg, is it? Yeah. I mean, it's... I actually was pretty convinced he was going to be able to get the third hatch. But I guess with the third hatch being so early, it also finishes up quicker. And therefore, the creep gets spread a little bit earlier, too. Queen's purposefully not laying down too many tumors. Not going for too many injects. Just to save up energy. Oh. Oh my god. This is actually a bit of a banger of an opener. I mean, this can still certainly flip into a Terran advantage. Oh my god. Yeah, we have so much transfusion energy. I mean, right now we only have 1, but... Oh, well, Branda could have... Miscontrol right there by Dark. Yeah, I think these queens could have been saved. One of them died with a transfusion for sure. Anyways. Engineering base on the back of this. Stimpek are researching right now as well here for ByuN. But ByuN needs to be careful. Like, this is an opener that's pretty good, and it can be quite successful, but it hasn't really paid for itself just yet. Dark, by the way, 5 minutes into the game, still gasless. Did Dark just reinvent Zerg early game, or is he messing around? I honestly can never tell with him. Drone's thinking about, yeah, I was gonna say, creating a bit of a wall off here. Body blocking against the Reapers. Another queen falls. 4th hatchery coming up. Before gas. 4th hatchery before gas. What in the world are we doing right now? 5th hatchery before gas. Okay. So, that was just layer number 1 in ByuN's beautiful wedding cake of a Terran opener. He's doing something a lot more standard. We take 3 gases all at the same time now. 4 gases all at the same time. Problem is, Terran's already marching, and Stimpek is, well, I was gonna say already finishing, but this is a late Stimpek. 1-1 upgrades. About halfway done. You can tell that this is ByuN because his armor upgrade started first. Which is objectively worse than going for the attack upgrade first, but ByuN for some reason always does this. He should probably just reverse his hotkeys. That'd be the easiest fix for him. Bailing Nest coming up, by the way. Ah, we needed roaches, Dark. I'm actually not joking. I think if we had a roach warren here, it would have been much better. Because then it could lead towards the same games that we've been playing so far. I think ultimately against Bio, if we're gonna go Ling Bane, I mean, we do have the gold base done at this point. So Dark genuinely just played 5 hatch before gas against ByuN. ByuN doesn't know about these bases, by the way, on the right. That's the really funny part here. Like, he's assuming that, yeah, maybe there's a 4th base now. But now he finds the 5th. Could be that Dark just passed it by, right? He just decided to go for it. Nah, the Stimpek is still going to be incredibly powerful. Oh, bit of miscontrol right there. Okay, that's much better. Sniping those Banelings before they can connect. Queens still have a lot of energy. Oh my god. This is pretty wild. Maybe we should have gone for that Scarlet follow-up, you know, with Mass Hydra. I mean, I actually don't think it would have been... It would be pretty bad, but I don't think it would be worse than what Dark is doing right now. Infestation Pit coming up right now. Dark, are we playing the same game? I don't think we can go Infestation Pit. I mean, he's still holding right now, but Infestation Pit is great if you're planning on surviving for the next 5 minutes. Yeah, maybe we can survive for the next 5 minutes. All right. Well, second factory is done. 2-2 upgrades. Started up right here again as well. Still no Bane speed though. Baneling speed is going to finish up in just a moment. This is the latest Baneling speed that I've seen in quite a while. This actually worked. I can't believe that this actually worked. He took so much damage, but I guess because his early game was so good. As far as like, oh, mistake right there from ByuN. Yeah. Because Dark's early game, at least as far as like the total amount of workers goes, was so good that it didn't really matter that he lost a whole load of stuff as well. Yeah, he lost 2,000 resources more-ish than his opponent. Okay, a little less because the gas counts, but a lot of that gas he lost. ByuN, that is because of those Reapers that he built. Okay, so ByuN just happily playing the macro game right now. And it looks like Dark is getting away with it. Double expanding once again. Hive coming up. We didn't even make any infestors here. 2-2 starts up right now. I feel like this strategy though from Dark right here is one of those like, hold my beer, I can do this, and then you give it a try in your own games. And it goes absolutely horrible. Yeah, I know. I don't know. You can experiment with this. I love this, by the way. If those Marines would have chased, these Banes would have had, well, a good old time. I feel like this is one of those builds, if you do it in your own games, it's gonna go absolutely atrocious, but somehow Dark is making it work. Nydus Worm in the main base. This is outside of the vision range of ByuN. When did we even make the Nydus Worm? I didn't even notice it. That timing on the Nydus network is really weird. Anyways, there's the Zerg infestation. Marauders are popping. Ultras are coming. That'll be part of my rep album. Ultras are popping. Oh wait, no. What did I say? Anyways, I've already forgot. Never mind. My rep career is put on hold indefinitely. Lil Loco. Represent. Very short career. Alright. If we get to Ultras, I think this game is actually very playable for Dark. I still don't really like it, but he is going for a massive run by right now on the left! Oh, yo, yo. Dark, we don't have the money to kill the... Okay, he just actually... That was 2 command centers that we're building. It's actually not that bad. I think we should really, like, calm down with the tech a little bit, Dark. I think we should actually try to defend first before we go crazy. Gold base running dangerously low on HP, but does get pushed back for now. We really need to take some gases, Dark. We have way too little gas income to support all of this. Especially if you want to go 3-3 research as well. I don't think you can. Nydus Worm for the 17th location in the exact same time. This is a level of brilliance I don't quite understand. He's literally put it in the same location every time. Yeah, no, there you go. Do it again. Maybe something will change. What's the definition of insanity again? He's just feeding him 75 minerals, 75 gas every time. It's probably a camera hotkey. He's probably just got a camera hotkey for where the Nydus needs to go, and he just sends it. Okay, there's the Parabomb. Alright, well, easy splits right there. What about that one? That medevac will certainly fall. Do we just have enough stuff right now, though, as Terran? I think so. Yeah, I think ByuN... I think Dark is onto something here, but ByuN did a good job reacting to it. I feel like I've been giving all the praise to Dark so far. Praise and criticism. But ultimately, ByuN is playing a clever game. Not really getting himself... well, in too strange of a position against all of these weird beginnings here from Dark. Looks like ByuN has got it figured out quite well. I'm still a bit surprised, though, that his Reaper opener didn't work better than it did. One of those Widow Mines could have actually betrayed him really bad. Okay. That worked out okay. 16 SCV, or sorry, 16, well, Zerg SCVs right there have gone down. This Parabomb is gonna finish off that medevac. Oh, sorry about that, Jimmy. We could only have so many people going down that rope. I'm assuming they come out of a rope anyways when they jump out of the medevac. I'm not exactly sure how it works. Yeah, I think ByuN has too much stuff now, right? Looks like it. Mass Hydra, by the way, coming up. We didn't make a single Ultralisk, which is weird because we did go for the Ultra Tech. Although we never got the Ultralisk upgrades. Maybe he got scanned right away or something? Yeah, maybe he assumed that ByuN was going to respect it more than he did. Anyways, GG is called. ByuN gets a point on the board. Next up, we find ourselves on the map site Delta. I'm still a little surprised that Dark almost made that work. Yeah. Like, ultimately, he opened up 5 hatch, completely gasless, rushed up towards Ultralisks, and then never made any Ultralisks. I feel like there is room for refinement in that build order. Yeah. Yeah, if I think about that objectively, I think there may be some room for optimization there somewhere. We maybe have to really focus on finding it, but... The fact that he was actually okay, though, against that Reaper opener surprises me a bit. I guess the timing of the 3rd hatch was just in such a way that... Yeah, the queen production could begin there quite early. And obviously, even though hatcheries don't spread a lot of creep around themselves, on Alcyone, you can get to your 3rd quite quickly. On this map, though, and Dark is going up against, yeah, ByuN doing the same build again, although 2 Rex for now, not a 3rd Rex yet. Could be something he adds on in a moment. On this map, you can't quite defend your natural as easily, right? Because the creep has to spread from here. Say there's a base over here, the creep would get to maybe that point, and the creep over here would maybe get to that point. That's a lot of distance for the queens to travel. So I can imagine that if we have a similar game once again, it should work out a bit nicer. Maybe Dark is thinking the same thing too, because he actually made a gas. This gas is like 5 minutes earlier than it was in the previous game. Okay. Alright, guys. I think everything's normal again. Double barracks opener. Also pretty normal. Double barracks, 1 gas. So usually you make 2 to 5 Reapers with this opener. There's no vision here for ByuN on the other side of the map. He decided to skip the scout entirely. I'm expecting Dark to send a drone down towards the 3rd base location right now. Yeah, normally you send that at the point where a Reaper just barely doesn't see it. You kind of just put it over there until you have 300 minerals a little bit later on into the game to quickly build the hatchery. Okay. So this is a remarkably normal game. Oh! No. Sorry. That action sound was weird. But losing that against a slow Zergling, especially when you are ByuN, is maybe morally more of a hit than anything else. So it's triple Reaper. Into triple command center. We're making 3 of each today. We have only 2 gases at this point, but we will be making another one in a moment. I'm expecting another barracks as well soon. Dark's going to scout the timing of the 3rd CC, which is going to give him all the information he really needs. As memey as some of the strategies from Dark are, I'm sure he recognizes the timing on all of these structures very clearly. Okay, let's see. 3 Marines being produced at a time. Hellions, or sorry, Reapers waiting on top of the high ground. Dark made a big round of Lings here, but mostly just to protect against whatever it is the Terran's gonna send him. Yeah, and there's that follow-up you come to expect. Okay. So, ByuN will probably do a move out as soon as Stimpak is done. That's still about a minute or so away from now. He's not gonna have any medevacs or anything along those lines, though. We should really expect a... Why do we not make a factory yet? We're gonna go double upgrades first and then factory? Okay. Ah, never mind. We probably won't see much of a move out in that case. Because ByuN is not gonna be able to get any medevacs going, and for the Marines to make a little trip without any medevac support, I mean, that does happen. I did cast that Gumiho series recently, where Gumiho decided to do some crazy move outs. Just loads of Marines, no support whatsoever, Stimpak straight in, run to your deaths. This is a bit more of a conservative way to play Marines. These Reapers knew they were going to die when they were sent out onto the map, and this is them accepting their fate, but they're gonna go... Yeah, they're gonna go down with one final hurrah. 6 Zerglings in total. It's a little sad, but it happens. So 5 minutes into the game is when we finally see the starport. Okay. So, what's the strat right here for Dark? Dark has decided to go double upgrades before Lair, before Baneling Nest, before anything. We're already going into a 4th hatch. That is pretty quick. He's essentially just been sitting on 2 gases here this whole time. I think he just added on the 2nd one, actually, but really prioritizing the mineral income, and now finally when he's starting to oversaturate his bases is when he adds on additional gases. So it looks like it's going to be 5 gas in total. We'll have to see exactly what he decides to use that for, because he's very deliberately not taking this one yet. This always screams Hydras to me. I'm not exactly sure why, but back in the day we used to play like Hydras off of 5 gas. But I don't think it is Hydras. It would just be a little bit funky. It's gonna be Banelings. Armory nice and early, so we can go into the 2-2 upgrades nice and early as well. There's been some delays in this particular series from, or in this particular match actually, from ByuN. As far as the 2-2 startup time goes. Okay, I was gonna say, this time around we are crisp. Immediately, even going into the attack upgrade. That's crazy, ByuN. You could cancel it and get armor going instead, man. Don't forget about the armor, though. All jokes aside, ByuN is a big fan of the armor upgrade before the attack. But don't forget about the armor. Even though the attacking upgrade is better, the defensive one is still very handy. It is Hydras. Okay. Yeah. So it's, yeah, it is Hydras. It's just 5 gases with Hydraling Bane. Fair enough. If he adds some more gases, I guess it could be Lurkers too. Aggressive expanding all around the map though. A couple of Overlords may find themselves going down, but as soon as Baneling speed finishes up, which is so much quicker now than it was in the previous game, I think Dark is gonna feel really comfortable. Okay. 2nd factory. And there's the 4th command center too. By far the most remarkably normal game in this series so far. This is what ByuN has been wanting to play this entire time, and now he finally gets it. But he plays it quite passively though. The problem with opening up this particular way, and one of the downsides, I guess, of starting with a double barracks opener, is that usually you don't get any Hellions to go alongside with it. And without Hellions, the creep spread just gets kind of out of control. So Dark has been not on top of it, actually. I think he could have had it even further out. But the point is that he's got a lot of creep. And it makes it so difficult to go for any of these attacks, especially somebody like ByuN who really favors multitasking rather than like a full frontal attack. It's gonna slow him down quite a bit. He's just sort of parking his units out here. This is not really inspiring me into anything. Nah, he's just going for barracks 6, 7, 8. 4th command center, we'll probably see a ghost academy in a moment. Maybe another gas geyser too, base at the bottom of the map. He's just playing this passively. I don't love it. Maybe it'd be good if Dark had a late game weakness, but there's the Lurker Den, by the way, on the back of this too. But we have a fully functioning Hydraling Bane army right now, which is a good unit composition. It's kind of like the Marine Marauder medevac, I guess, of the Terran. Already going into missile too. We've even queued it up. Okay. Now ByuN has been playing a lot more passive games as of late. This is something he has been working on over the last year or so. Maru was of course a big fan of this style, although Maru has kind of toned it down a bit, where he's now playing a lot more actively. Less passivity. But here's the Lurker Den together with the Nydus Worm, so... Dark already has sent some Niduses. Nydusi? I don't know. He's already sent a bunch of them out. This time around in this game, we're gonna be getting Nyduses with Lurkers. And Lurkers in the Worm are very dangerous. There's the Overseer. Sailing towards the bottom of the map. Don't send it there, Dark. That's gonna be within vision range. Okay. He parks it! Dark's like, yo, where did I park my Overseer? Where? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, right, okay, yeah, right there. No worries. Don't mind me. 9 Lurkers are coming. I was gonna say, this is so obvious. So ByuN spots this from a mile away. Can't believe he parked it. He parked it within vision range. He knew that that base was over there, right? Like, he hadn't seen it yet, but... Okay. We're gonna go for the Nydus a little bit closer by. Seismic Spines is done. That is the ranged upgrade for the Lurkers. Now he's gonna be going into the Adaptive Talons as well, which is the burrow improvement for the Lurkers. There's the Worm. Okay, we just get to look at the Worm. Yep, no, we just, okay. There's a fight going on in the meantime up north, but... Ah, there we go. As soon as I move the camera, naturally. They could have just walked there, man. Like, considering that location, they could have just walked. Anyways, ultimately, they will show up. There's no detection over here anywhere. Ling Bane, oh, making its way to the mineral line as well. Army up north, not really achieving that much just yet. Another Nydus Worm over here. That planetary fortress is in a world of trouble. Hatchery does fall here too, but we've already had 39 SCVs going down. And just like that, I think that is, yeah, pretty much unrecoverable. A very passive game right there from ByuN, and then a few pretty significant blunders. No detection over there is actually kind of wild, though. No way of actually seeing exactly what is going on. I don't like this passive style on Side Delta very much. It's just a massive map. And in general, I don't think you need to play this style on this map. There's so many ways of playing it much more actively, but... Anyways, 49 Banelings. Yeah, Dark is about done with this game. He wants to grab the couple $100 that you get from winning the ESL Open Cup and call it a day. Nydus Worm over there in the back of the Terran army just to try and force him to, I guess, I don't know, walk into it. Create a bit of a choke point for his own units. 52 workers. Push over here does continue. Dark did not leave any Lurkers behind at home, but the Queens have, well, pretty much infinite energy here. Unless you don't use it, but GG is called. It's indeed Dark who obtains the victory over ByuN 3-1.